Welcome to Remembering Saturdays. I hope you all are doing well because I know I am definitely doing exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. Welcome to Remembering Saturdays. Tonight we are going to talk about something a little bit deeper. And I'm not talking about just thinking about it on the surface level, I'm talking about digging deep. Digging deep. Again, welcome to Remembering Saturdays. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for the love and the support. And tonight, we're going to talk about not just aging. Hi, Francine. Can you hear me well? Not just aging, not just getting older, but the idea that old is a condition. Old is a condition. And once the mind believes the condition, the body, the body starts to accept it. It's just that simple. Once the mind believes the condition, I don't care what it is, the body starts to accept it. And most people never question this. We just say, I'm getting older. I'm slowing down. My body can't do what it used to do. But the real question is this. Did the body decide that? Did the body decide it, or did the mind learn that? Or was the mind taught that? Because this whole week we've been talking about conditioning. What if fear was taught? What if success was taught? What if limits were taught? What if decline was taught? Okay? That's what we're talking about right now. So, what if old? What if old was taught? I'm just saying. When we were kids, when we were children, we didn't think about age. We did not think about age. We ran, we healed fast, we believed we could do anything. We could fly. Okay? When we were children, that is what we believed. Nobody said when we were children, you're too old. You can't do that anymore. Your body doesn't work like that now. We learned those things later. We learned those things as we got older, as our parents got older. And again, once the mind accepts it, the body has no choice. The body has no choice but to give you exactly what the mind accepts. Okay? So we learn those things. Age is something that we learned. All right? The body starts to expect it, and the body follows expectation. Let me tell you this from now. The body follows expectation. Not because the body is weak. It's not because the body is weak, but because the mind is powerful. The mind is powerful. The mind tells the body what's normal. And if the mind believes that normal is decline, guess what? The body starts living like it is. So old is something that we were taught. Yes, we age. Obviously, we age. That's it. We age. The body gets old, we feel it. The body starts to age, we feel it. The mind starts to, things change. I'm not telling you that we don't age, but do we have to decline at a certain time in our lives? Or was that something we were taught? Think about it. Think about it. In some cultures, people say that they stay strong all into their 80s. And in some cultures, people start to feel old at 40. Same human beings, different beliefs, different conditioning. So the question becomes, is aging only physical, or is it a part of mental too? Is it a part of mental? And we were never told that. We were never told that, because if the mind accepts a condition long enough, I want you to hear me and hear me clearly on this. If the mind accepts a condition long enough, the body starts acting like that condition is real. The body starts acting like that condition is normal. Do you understand me? Okay? And most people never question it. Most people never question it. Most of the time, we just go with what we were taught. We repeat it and we send it down through generations in our families. We send it down and we just repeat what we were taught. I don't get it. We want things to change for us in our life, but we never question what we've been taught. We just keep going. We just keep teaching it. If my mom say an old saying back in the day, I say that saying to my children, and on and on and on. Even if the saying doesn't make sense, it's just something I heard going on growing up. So it's just something I said, oh, let me just carry it into without not knowing. That's why you have to speak good things to an existence. Peace and thank you. Thank you. And that's absolutely right, Jerome, because awareness changes everything. Once you start noticing the beliefs, once you start noticing the beliefs, you start seeing how much life we live on autopilot. Once you start having that awareness, once awareness clicks in for you, once you start noticing that the beliefs that you were taught, you start seeing how much of your life you live on autopilot. And it's not because you believed it. It's not because you experienced it, I should say. And it's not because you had that, like I said, you had that experience with it. No. It's because you was taught it and then you believed it. So we say things without even thinking. We expect things without even thinking. And we accept limits without even thinking. And the body says, the body listens. The body only listens to what the mind does all day long. That's it. Thank you, Jerome. Peace and love, life to you as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if the mind keeps saying, I'm getting old, I'm slowing down, I can't do that anymore, why do we think that the body wouldn't accept it? The body is going to accept it. If you've been told that at a certain age, certain diseases come apart, certain diseases come to play. If you've been told that the body starts operate in a certain way at a certain age in your life, over time, if it's been going down past through generation after generation, repetition builds that as your truth. So then it becomes truth. And if so many people collectively believe it, then what the hell? Excuse my language. It's inevitable. The body hears that and it follows it. That's it. Not because it has to, because it doesn't have to, but because it's trained to. Okay? It is trained to. The same way you can learn a skill set. The same way you can learn a skill set, you can learn aging. You can learn conditioning. These things don't have to be your truth no more, but they will continue to be your truth and continue to show up in your life until you actually start questioning them. Question them because it doesn't serve you not to. So the question isn't how old are you? It's not. The question is, when did the mind learn what old means? When did the mind learn what old means? When? And who taught you that? Who taught you that? Because once the mind believes a condition, the body accepts. I'm going to keep saying that. Okay? Once the mind believes. Let me ask you a question. If you're up for it. Do you think aging is only physical? Physical? Do you think aging is only physical? Or do you think that the mind plays a bigger role than what we were told? I'm going to answer. I'm not going to wait. I absolutely think that the mind plays a bigger role than what we were told. We are going to age. That's just part of life. Things change. Nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. But we don't have to decline. This body right here was created to last and live for years. If you look back into our history, people used to live for hundreds of years. But that stopped because we started to be taught what aging is. We started to be taught what old meant, at what age this is going to happen, at what age you're going to notice this. And then our body starts accepting it. And then of course it has to show up in our reality. It's inevitable. We believe it. We believe it. How many times do we say at a certain age, oh, I'm getting old. The body can't do that no more. Without even experiencing it. Without even experiencing it. We say, oh, I'm old. Oh, I'm at an age now where it's too late for that. I hate to hear that one right there. Oh, I'm at an age right now where it's too late for that. It's never too late. But you've been conditioned and taught that it's too late. You've been conditioned and taught, so now you believe it. So guess what? If you don't decide to change that, if you don't choose to change that, then guess what? It's too late. That's your choice, though. Whenever I tell somebody my so-called age that I've been told that I am, I don't say I'm that old. I say I'm 44 years young. I'm 42 years young. I never ever say I'm 44 years old because I'm not old. And I'm not accepting that. Yes, my body age. Yes, I have some gray hairs growing in. So that's part of how the body operates. But you won't hear me say, oh, at 50, I'm going to start getting these diseases. Or at 60, my body's going to slow down. No, because I don't believe that. And I won't accept it. I won't accept it just because somebody told me that that's what's going to happen. Or that was somebody else's experience with age because they was taught it and they believed it and they didn't change it. That won't be my story. And it doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be yours, okay? You can start questioning and changing things that you don't want to show up in your life, okay? You don't have to. You don't have to take it on. And it's not even just with aging. It's not even just with aging, because I have a book that I promise is going to be out soon that talks about all of this. And it's not just with aging. It's with marriage, it's in relationships, it's society's conditioning. And we accept it and we believe it as our truth, and therefore it becomes our reality. It could be with finances too. Oh my gosh. If you're born into if you live in a certain environment, you can't get out. You hear a lot of people saying, there's no way out. I'm already living in this. I've lived in it for years, and this is who I am. Bull. That is an excuse. That is a conditioning you was taught based on the environment and the condition you was put in. So now you believe that that's your truth. And guess what? Once the mind accepts it, the body is going to reflect it. That's it. That's a bar. Write that down. Thanks, Nero. Once the mind accepts it, the body reflects it. That's it. It's just that simple. But it doesn't have to be that. That's the great part of being a human being. That you get to change. You can change it at any given time. You could wake up one morning and decide that this is not what I believe no more, and I'm going to start questioning everything that I've been taught and change it. Will it be easy? No, but it'll be effortlessly if you are aligned with it. If you are literally aligned with it on all planes, mind, body, and soul, yes, it will be effortless. It's not going to just change overnight. No, because you've been in the same routine. You've been living the same habits. You've been having the same beliefs for years. So now it's a process to change them. But once you accept it and you know, effortless. Effortless. It will start flowing. It will start flowing in your life. It will start flowing. Okay? You just got to be willing to start questioning some of the things that you were taught. You just have to be willing to start questioning some of the things you were taught. And old is definitely a condition that we were taught. And that's why most people don't want to look at it. Because the moment we realize the mind has that much influence, the moment we realize that the mind has that much influence, we also realize how much we were taught without knowing it. Yeah. Nobody sat us down and said, hey, you're being programmed to believe this. Nobody sat us down and told us, you're being programmed to believe this. I tell my children all the time, there's a bunch of things that I've been programmed to believe that I want to help you, or I'll say guide you along the way to switch up those. I don't want to keep continuing to pass those generational thoughts, generational habits, routines down the line in my family. I want it to change. Okay? And it just happened slowly. When nobody sat you down and said, hey, you're being programmed to believe this, it just started happening slowly. You hear it growing up. Wait until you get older. Just wait. Your body starts changing. It does start changing. That's a fact. It does start changing. You won't be able to do that forever. That's a lie. That's a lie, because if you choose to, guess what? You can. If you choose to and you believe it, you can, okay? So you can be able to do whatever it is that you're doing now later, okay? And you hear, oh, that's what happens when you age. That's normal. That's life. That's not normal. That's not life. It's natural for you to age. It's normal in society's thing for you to get old. It's natural for you to age. That's just part of life. You see how the trees, animals get older. And I want to say older, they age. That's it. They age. They age. That's normal. That's natural, I should say. But normal to them is old. Conditioning. All right. And the mind stores all of that. It stores all of that. Even if you don't think you believe, it's in there already. It's been embedded in your mind. It's been embedded in your subconscious, I should say. It's been embedded in your subconscious. And the mind repeats what it hears the most. So if the mind keeps hearing decline, that's what's going to happen. The mind's going to accept it, and the body is going to start moving in that direction. That's just it. Not because you choose it, but because you learned it. So now it's up to you to start choosing another way of living, another way of life. And that's not just with aging. That's not just with this conditioning called old. It's with everything in life. It is absolutely with everything in life. It's time to start questioning these things. It's really time to start questioning them. And now think about this. Let me give you something else to think about. When people are young, they don't move like they're old, right? They don't. And they don't think they're old. And they don't talk like they're old. They don't say the little thing, oh, my knees hurt because of my age. Oh, my back hurts because of my age. Or I can't do this because I'm getting older. Or that don't heal like it used to. They don't even think like that. Because the mind hasn't accepted the condition yet. It hasn't accepted it. But the moment it does, the moment the mind accepts the idea, everything starts lining up. That's just it. Excuse me. Everything just starts lining up. So my question to you all is, when do you start questioning everything? I'm talking about the simplest things in life that you get up and you do on a normal basis, not a natural basis. There's a difference. On a normal basis. Who taught you that? Or things that you believe and think about on a normal basis, like stranger danger. Who taught you that? And was it their belief or was it your belief? Because how many times have we met strangers and strangers have become our lifelong partners and strangers have become our family? So stranger danger, really? That's what we teach our children growing up, like strangers are danger. And then we wonder why sometimes some children are so secluded and isolated. And what do they call them? Introverts? I believe that's what it's called. And then we wonder why. Because those things that's been passed down to us become a part of us. And we continue to pass it down and pass it down. You create a lot of these things with your mind. You create a lot of the things that happen to you with your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You do. People accept being broke. People accept being tired. People accept being stressed. People accept anxiety. People accept being sick. People accept bad relationships. Not because they want to, but because the mind learned it was normal. The mind learned that it was normal. And once the mind calls something normal, the body and life follows it. People literally accept, okay, I'm going to be broke my entire life. And they accept that. People accept, oh, I'm always tired. I'm always stressed out. I'm always sick. Or I'm always attracting bad relationships. And again, not because they want to, but because the mind learned that it's normal. That's part of life. That's part of life. I hear that all the time. Oh, that's just part of life. It's not. It doesn't have to be. If you don't choose it, if you don't accept it, and does it really serve your reality? If it serves your reality and you're good with it, go right ahead with it. Go right ahead with it. If you okay with being broke, tired, stressed, sick, and in bad relationships, then go ahead. Don't let me try to alter that, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm simply here to open your mind to new perspectives. Okay, and if you want a different reality, you change the way you think. You change what you choose to believe. Okay. If you don't want to, if you don't choose to, hey, don't let me force you. That's not what I'm here to do. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm simply here to open your mind to new perspectives. What if? You will hear that on the channel a lot. What if? Right? What if the things we were taught shouldn't be what we pass down to our children and our children's children and then we wonder why. But there's a Bible verse where it says the Father create. I'll find it and I'll post it in the comments. But we pass these things down. We pass them down. We pass them down. We pass them down. And this is why awareness. You're welcome. And this is why awareness feels uncomfortable. Because once you see how much of life is conditioning, you start questioning everything. Not because you want to be rebellious and not to argue, just because you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't choose half of the things I believe. I didn't. I inherited it. I inherited them from school, from parents, from society, from culture, from religion, from TV. And people repeating the same ideas over and over and over. When repeated long enough, the mind accepts it as truth. And even if nobody ever proved it, that's the crazy thing. Even if nobody ever proved it. Now, again, let me tell you this now. I'm not saying age doesn't exist. We age. Time exists. But the meaning we attach to time, that's conditioning. That's conditioning. Because if aging was only physical, everybody would be experiencing it the same way. You wouldn't have an 80-year-old still jumping up and down, doing jumping jacks and running 5 miles versus a 40-year-old that can't even lift his foot up the stairs. Okay? All right? Okay? Because if aging was only physical, everybody would be experiencing it the same way. No? No? If it was only physical, if aging was only physical, why aren't we all experiencing it the same way? A lot of us are. A lot of us are, because a lot of us don't question that. But we don't experience it the same way. Some people feel old at 35. Some people feel strong at 70. Some people feel decline earlier. Some people stay active forever. Take, for instance, look at Chuck Norris. He was active. Same human body. Different belief. Different expectation. Different condition. Different condition. So the question becomes, how much of aging is the body, and how much of it started in the mind? How much of aging is the body, and how much of it started in the mind? Yeah. They do. Yes, because that comes with the conditioning. That comes with the conditioning. You hear doctors tell you, oh, when you get to this age, we have to start running this test. We have to do this different test. But it's not the same test they ran on you when you was in your 20s. Why? Because they want you to believe that now that you're getting older, you're going to need this. Yes, the body ages. Yes, but it's the conditioning that comes with the aging. Why do you have some 70-year-olds that don't take no type of meds? But then you have other people at 70 and 50 are already on those meds. If we all age the same, why are we all not at the same level? Why are we all not aging the same way? Different bodies, same bodies, different beliefs, different conditioning, okay? We don't have to believe that. But once we believed it for so long, it's hard. It's hard to come up out of it. You can, but you have to change those beliefs entirely. And it doesn't start with just one belief that you believe in. It doesn't. You start questioning all of them. You can't just question one. What if my environment didn't have to shape my reality? What if I can change that? What if I can get up? I just watched this young girl. She moved from her state, her hometown, because her spirit led her to another state. How many people's going to believe that? How many people's even going to hear that? Not many. It's unfortunate, but not many. And once you ask the questions, you can't unask them. Because now you start noticing. Now you start noticing it. You notice how people talk. You notice how people expect decline. They expect decline. They expect decline. And you notice people joke about getting old, right? They joke about getting old. And you notice how people say things like, this is just what happens. That's part of life. Right. But who decides that? Who decides that? Did we all agree to that? Did we all agree to that? And why don't we question it? Why don't we question it? This is what awakening really is. It's not magic. It's not floating in the air. It's not being perfect. It's becoming aware of the things that you were taught. And if deciding if you want to keep believing them. Okay? Because like I keep telling you, and I'm going to say it on this video until I come off. Once the mind believes something, the body follows. Life follows. Reality follows. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. Reality follows. And most people never realize that. Most people never realize that. They just live inside the condition that they were given. That's it. They just live inside the condition that they were given. And they accept it and continue to live in it and continue to raise children in it and continue to pass down the same generational habits, the same talks, the same phrases, all of the same stuff. All of it. Without even questioning anything. So tonight I want everybody to really sit with this. And not to argue with it, not to argue it, not to prove anything, just to think. Literally, just to think. What conditions did my mind accept and I never questioned? What did I learn what old means? What did I learn what decline means? What did I learn what's possible? What's possible and what isn't? Okay? Because the moment we become aware, guess what? We're not. We're not stuck anymore. We're not stuck anymore. And that's where the real change starts. That is where the real change starts. Not in the body, certainly not in the world. In the mind first. And I love pointing up here, but the mind is in many cells of your body. And then everything else follows. All right? If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the chat. And do you think the body decides first or the mind? I'm going to leave that with y'all. Thank y'all for being here. If you ever have any questions, you want to ever talk to me, you can always email me at shakolesworld@gmail.com. I love you all. Have a very, very, very great evening. Good night.